Hey, what is going on everybody? My name's Ashley and welcome to another episode of the Red Bull Leipzig Youth Team Career Mode. If you do enjoy the video, please drop a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you like, check out your social media links or links to the previous episodes. They'll be down in the description below. So we're going to go ahead and send our scouts out. The first one is going to go to Holland for 3 months, and the second one is going to go to Argentina for 3 months for any player. So we go into our youth squad at the moment, and as you can see, we're going to go ahead and offer some contracts to players because we need to try and clear out the youth team academy. So we're just trying to bring in the players that could potentially fill a hole in the first team squad when available, and don't want to bring anyone in too soon. We go into another training session and get some growth from 2 of our players, including our goalkeeper, which is going to be our backup goalkeeper hopefully, and if he continues to grow nicely, that will do well. We move on into another training session, and once again getting growth from 3 of our players, this time again the goalkeeper going up nicely. We move on into a 3rd training session in a row, and we get some growth from our cam once again, and going up to a 51 rating now, making him good. And the 4th training session is going to be growth from our goalkeeper once again, so he grew 3 ratings in that month. We move on into our youth scout report for Germany, and we look for players that we can pick up, and there's no one of any great note, so we're going to move on and we go to Argentina. We do see some players that may come in, but we're going to scout them further, and we pick 1 player up from Holland and move on with the scout report and see how things go. So we go into youth team now and just have a quick overlook of the players that we've got. We've got some decent high rated players in there, and that those players can hopefully come into the first team sooner rather than later and start getting them some game time. So another training session, and again gets some growth from our cams, both our cams up a rating. We go ahead and offer a contract for a player that wanted out of the youth team, so we're going to go ahead and offer him a contract to make sure we keep hold of him. We go into another training session now, and again some growth, this time from our central midfielder, now up to 61 rating, so not far off being first team ready, well at least in the reserves for the first team. Again some growth from our cam and our goalkeeper, so our goalkeeper has grown nicely throughout these training sessions. And once again we're going to go ahead and get growth, this time from our striker Uphoff, looking to bring him up to that 60 rating as soon as possible. Another training session, once again the goalkeeper's gone up again, as well as 2 of our midfielders, and go into the scout report for Germany, trying to find players and just releasing a few players that aren't of the grade and picking up who we can. So we do pick up 1 player from that session and move on to Argentina. And in Argentina we look for players to see who is ready. None of them look ready just yet, so we'll go ahead and scout them further, and we go into Holland trying to find another gem, but nothing of any great note there. So in the youth squad report you see that we've brought up a few players, so we've created some room, decent looking youth academy at the moment, and if they guys can continue to progress, that would be decent. Another training session, again our striker and our goalkeeper have both grown nicely, so they've both grown very well throughout this episode. And we move on into another training session, and our 2 of our midfielders have both gone up a rating, so they're progressing very well in this training session. These training sessions are really proving fruitful at the moment. Again our striker and goalkeeper, as well as our other midfielder, have gone up in that training session, so decent enough. We go into the youth squad report for Germany, and we pick up 1 player who had got grown in potential, so we picked him up. We pick up a player from Argentina there, and we move on into Holland. And through Holland there's not really many players there that are going to be of use to us, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of those. As you can see, the youth academy is once again getting populated, so we're going to have to promote some players to the senior squad. So Vincenzo Galliano is 1 player that I will be bringing in, just because he's one of the older players. We want to try and get the oldest ones out first. So we're going to go ahead and set up the scouting networks. So the first one is obviously going to Germany. We're going to send him to Germany for 3 months, looking for defensive minded players, as we just need more defenders. We've got a lot of midfielders and a lot of attackers and goalkeepers, we just don't have any defenders, so we're going to try and get defensive minded players from everywhere. So we sent 1 out to Germany, 1 out to Switzerland, and I think the other one went to England. Yeah, that's right. Again, growth in our training session, so decent little turnout there. We're still getting the growth throughout these sessions, so when we go to use these players in the first team, they will be a lot closer to being first team ready and make us a lot more competitive in the leagues. Again, getting growth from our players. Our goalkeeper's now 60 rated, and we're getting a few players that are going to be above 60 rated when we go into the next season. Again, getting some growth this time from our new right back, who we brought into training. Hopefully he can grow up to somewhere close to the 60 rating by the end of the season, and that will be decent enough. Again, growth from our midfield, looking very, very solid. So we move on into the first scouting report from Germany. We get one player there with very good potential. Hopefully he can be a star in our team, and we'll wait and see how things go with that. Move on into England, and there is no one there of any note just yet. We move on into Switzerland and pick up one player from Switzerland, helping populate a youth academy. Once again, we're starting to get it filled out, so we need to offer some contracts to people and try and bring as many people in as possible so that we've got a nice populated squad. So we offer 2 contracts out there and move on into some training. Once again, we get some growth from our right back, so he's up to 54, looking very, very decent and looking like a player that could grow nicely for us. Again, we get growth from 3 of our players, 3 midfielders, all getting growth there, looking very, very solid, I must say. We go ahead and offer another contract to a youth team player because he wanted out of the youth academy, so we're going to go ahead and offer him a contract, and we're going to go ahead and move on. We'll have to come back again to offer another player because he wanted out, so another midfielder looking to come into the club, so we're going to go ahead and offer him a contract and move on. But then we get the dreaded thing that you get sometimes with no warning. 2 of our players have terminated their youth contracts and left the club. Hugely disappointed, as one of those was the goalkeeper. We managed to get up to 60 rated, so I was really disappointed to lose him. But we move on into another training session. Again, decent enough growth throughout. We go into a youth academy scout report and pick up 2 players from Germany. We go into England looking for a player from England. We see Liam Batt, who we're going to pick up. We move on into Switzerland looking for a player. We pick up Dennis Mal, who looks decent enough, has very good potential. So we get some players into the training and move on, looking to continue this growth for these players. And there's very, very solid players in this youth academy now. Although some of them still are low rated, they've got very good potentials, and others that are got slightly better overalls that will be first team ready next season. But we continue to do the training as we need to do to continue their growth, getting some nice growth here. And the players' overalls are going up very, very rapidly, which is very, very good. So we come to the end of the season now, and we'll just go through a quick squad report of the players that have already been promoted. There's some very decent 60s there, so they should be ready by the end of the second season. And just a quick overhaul of the youth academy which we have left, so a few of those players will need to get promoted. The season finished off, we were trying to get promotion, but we only managed to get into the playoffs and lost in the playoff finals, so we did not get promoted. So we got another season in the Bundesliga too. But that is going to bring us to a close in this episode. If you have enjoyed this video, please do drop a like. It greatly helps me out. Until next time, guys, my name's Ashley. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.